Today we're out on home inspections on this beautiful property. I thought you would enjoy catching a glimpse of what a realtor does for these home inspections, and meet the home inspector, meet the pest inspector, and maybe we'll be lucky enough he kind of gives us a clue as to what they look for. I know they go through all the systems, as well as they check for termites and water damage. So isn't this home beautiful? Right here. We'll go inside here in a minute. He's checking the outside. I've got the home inspector here. These guys are busy, so I know homes are still selling. Let's see what he's doing. Oh, there he is, hard at work. Oh, checking the panel. So he's going to check the panel. Make sure everything looks good in there. Make sure they're labeled. Make sure he doesn't see any huge problems with it. Like I said, most homes are not quite perfect, but he does look for any major issues that's going on. Looks like the labeling on this one's on the outside there. Home inspection does take a lot longer than the pest inspection. Pest inspectors just look for water and termite damage. Look at this neighborhood, isn't it beautiful? Very nice. Look at all that parking across the way. I wish my house had that much parking. I'm always searching for parking. I have all my friends over and it's like they're parked clear up the whole street there. Look at this nice area. They keep their yards really nice. So here's the front entryway here. Nice little courtyard. I have a courtyard on mine. I really like it. I don't know, it just makes me feel more secure, especially for packages and everything. Of course, this is in the Clovis area, so it's a pretty nice little area. Let's go in and take a look at this beautiful home. Wait for the home inspector to get in here. Isn't this nice? So you walk in, there's a little entryway. Go to the right. This is the bedroom and bathroom areas. Here's the nice little living room. My buyers just love that fireplace. Nice little dining area. Kitchen. So the home inspector will go through all these different systems here. Nice little pantry. Laundry room. Ooh, we have light, people. Got a nice garage on this one. Somebody works out. Look at that beautiful car. Woohoo! It's pretty cool. I love old cars. I used to build street rods with my father in my younger years, previous to being a realtor. I loved it. So here is a nice backyard. Eventually the home inspector will be over here. He checks all the exterior first. Let's see if I can figure out this door here. Looks like the door sticks, door lock. See if the home inspector can figure it out. So he's a great source of information as far as home inspectors go, and can tell you sometimes if you're not quite sure how a system works in the home. Oh, look at, there's two doors. Wonder if that's part of it. Wonder if the other door opens. But sometimes he can give you a clue as to how different things work, because every home's different. And even though I've seen a lot, I am not an expert on different things. They have sometimes, I don't know, different faucets, or sometimes the working systems, maybe the sprinkler systems, or maybe the controller for the HVAC, something of that nature, is maybe high tech or something. But I tell you what, he's usually pretty good and can give you a clue on how things work. So home inspectors are great, if nothing else for that, give you kind of clue on how things work in the home. Typically a buyer has the option of being at a home inspection, or just looking at the reports and have the realtor go over it with them. So those are 2 of the bedrooms. Here's the bathroom. Let me hit a light so you can see it. Nice little bathroom here. And then here's the master bedroom. Look at this beautiful bathroom in here. The ensuite, they call it. Big, huge walk-in closet. Nice size. That's another thing. I have the individual closets. I wish I had a big walk-in like that. Boy, the stuff I could pack in there. Ha. So here's a nice little closet here for coats and such. Pretty home. Let's see where our home inspector's at. So the pest inspector doesn't take quite as long, so he doesn't always get here just right in the beginning, because they get booked up with, I don't even know, those guys are running from one end of town to the other, trying to keep up with them. You know what? I got locked behind there the other day. Be careful.
Oh.
I tore up my hand.
Oh, because the thing.
Yeah, because it locked on the.
Okay.
It's right there. See, it's healing.
One. Oh, shoot.
That one locked. Luckily,
I didn't even see that one.
Luckily, I was able to get a stick up under there and get it unlocked. But it's like, this isn't good because that thing's shut.
Yeah.
I didn't see a ton of stuff, but I'm not a home inspector, so sometimes these home.
The little settling tracks.
Yeah. Ooh, see, that darn thing did it again.
Is the back door open? Do you know?
That was what I came to tell you. I can't get that back door unlocked, so you'll have to look at it when you get in there. I was gonna open it for you, but I couldn't get it. Boy, that gate locked on me the other day because it has a lock on the bottom, which is fine for security, but I tell you what, I tore my arm up trying to get us out because we were all in the backyard. No panic. Realtors must keep their head, must stay cool. I was able to get a stick and get a hold of it and unlatch it for us. So we are waiting for the pest inspector, but he's doing all his exterior inspections, and he's noting the little cracks and different things, which are not typically as serious as normal settling on a house, but he does note them on there. But that does not mean necessarily that, it's a bad house, because most homes, even brand new ones, I've had brand new ones with big cracks going up it that they just get turned into the builder's warranty on those. But there's all homes, it doesn't matter how new they are, will have issues that you need to deal with. It's maintenance. It's just comes with owning a home. But he will go around and inspect the whole property, and he'll get a ladder, probably look up on the roof. He does all kinds of things that we as realtors, that's not what we do, and we don't have to be an expert. They get their license for a reason in order to be able to do this, so that they know what they're looking for. I mean, we can kind of as agents spot the obvious, or as homeowners or as buyers, which is what sometimes causes homes to maybe not sell for as much, because we do notice things as buyers walking through It's the things that are not obvious that the home inspectors are looking for. Look at that cute little shed. A lot of homes don't come with sheds. This one does. Glad my door stayed open. I didn't want to have to get it unlocked again. It really hurt the other day. My arm's still trying to heal up from it. All those splinters from that fence. Looks like he's checking the other side, maybe. Or maybe he went inside. Let's go see what he's up to. Oh yeah, there he is. So he is checking all the exterior outlets. I think he checks them to see if they're grounded as well as working. And then he'll note it one way or the other. So after the home inspections and pest inspections, the lender will, on his side, will order a appraisal of the home. And they will go through the appraisal and make sure, which most of them do. It's not an issue, but most of them will appraise at value. And that's the buyer's protection, that they're not paying too much for the home. So it doesn't matter so much what you offer them, other than you need their acceptance to get it into escrow. And then the lender, it has nothing to do with the realtor. It's if you have a loan on the home, the lender will send an appraiser out, which is a neutral third party. He's not even allowed to talk to them. He'll order the appraisal on the home, and they'll come out, and they have to be licensed too. So they have their knowledge, and they go in and do these appraisals on these homes typically, and it's similar to the way a realtor does comparisons on homes to get the set price. Originally, you take for the most part, it depends on the area too. Rural's a little different, but in the city here, it's basically the last 3 homes that sold in the area within a certain radius, and then they kind of compare apples to oranges. They put in pluses and negatives for the good in the home, and take out the stuff that doesn't match the ones that sold. So it's, the numbers are negative, positive, and then they get 3 values of the homes that just sold within a certain amount of time. And of course, then you divide it by 3, and that gives you a number that you're going off on these homes. So most appraisals will just say at value, is what majority of them will say. So if the home is, the offer amount is below whatever the appraiser gets on his end, that's when you would get a number, and it says, he basically sends the appraisal back from the company. Like I said, the lender never, ever, ever talks to the appraiser. They talk to the company that sends these appraisers out, and then it'll come in that it didn't appraise at value. So it'll give you a number at that point of whatever it appraised for. So that's how lenders determine whether their loan company is safe in lending on a particular home. So that's kind of how an appraisal works. So just because we're getting home and pest inspections today, we still have quite the process us realtors need to go through to work with all these different agencies to get this home closed, which is what our job is to go through the different agencies and these neutral third parties. It has nothing to do with us realtors. We are not necessarily in control. We have to get all these agencies to cooperate and do their job in a timely fashion, and make sure everything's done properly. That's our job. It's kind of the oversight, I guess, quality control on how well these agencies do their job. Bring all these agencies together these neutral third parties come together and get all the paperwork done, and you know, of course, the lender has to wire money over and different things, and they would go over to escrow. Everything goes through escrow once it's in escrow. So they're the ones that collect all the paperwork. They're the ones that will collect the end result of us realtors' work on getting all these agencies to do their part on these homes and get all their paperwork over to the appropriate, you know, agencies where it goes. And in most cases, it eventually all ends up at the escrow company. So that's pretty cool. So they are the neutral third party that's put in place to oversee all the paperwork and make sure that it looks all good, make sure there's no liens on the property, make sure there's no broken chain of title, collect all the information from the lender. The lender's in charge of the appraisal, but that will have to go over eventually to the escrow company also. So all that has to be collected. And the realtors is the one that sets all that in motion and works with all these different third-party agencies to get the correct paperwork and get it all over and make sure it all matches, make sure everything is a go on the home. You know, of course, you're also liaisoning with the whoever you're representing. If you're representing the buyer, you're liaisoning with the listing agent, as well as they're their spokesperson for the seller. So, you know, a lot of approvals, you know, for different things that may come up in a transaction. And then buyer agents work hard, my friends. Keep that in mind when you're griping about having to pay them. If you get a good professional realtor, they work really hard on these things. You know, making sure that you get a good home, making sure that all the paperwork's correct, make sure it's a smooth sale of the home, smooth closing. So stop grumbling at your realtor when you know, they deserve to make a living too and be able to pay their bills and feed their kids. So keep that in mind when you're grumbling, that realtors do work really hard. You know, buyers agents in particular, you know, they probably drove these, you know, their buyers around to 10, 15 different homes, maybe took 2-3 days out of their time. Sometimes, you know, I've worked with buyers probably 2 years before they can make a decision or be at a place they find a home, as well as then be able to afford it. So there's a lot of working parts when it comes to working with buyers. As far as listing agents go, you know, they work hard at finding people that's wanting to sell so that buyers can get into them. And right now we are short on homes. So there's that. So once we get a listing that we may have, you know, spent 2 years nursing that seller to where, you know, they're to a point where they can sell, you know, maybe had to clean the home up a little, spruce the home up. Everybody's living style is a little different. So what's good for some people may not be good for other people. And then they have the duteous job of marketing and finding buyers that match this type of home. So they have a tough job too. So stop grumbling at them. They work hard. There again, they deserve a little cooperation on the sellers, because that's what usually will give them the most amount of money in their pocket, is if they have a professional realtor that can help them. Now keep in mind, I do, on my listings, which I do have one coming up here, you're going to like. It's a beautiful home. You know, sometimes you just need a little bit of repair, you know, maybe a little bit of paint, or, you know, patch the holes from the pictures. I don't know, whatever the homes might need. You know, maybe they had a leak in the faucets or something. But I have a full set of contractors that will go in and help the sellers just fine-tune the home so that there's no, you know, any major issues that's went on. You know, maybe they had a water leak at some point and had the roof fixed. Well, patch the water leak and repaint the ceiling. Don't just leave it out there and think, oh, that's all right, because that knocks money off your home. So sellers are a little different than the buyers. Buyers, you're looking for all those red flags. And once you find those red flags, you always kind of goes through the buyer's mind, what else are they hiding? You know, if They didn't even take the time to correct that. So keep in mind, we as agents, we work for both buyers and sellers. So sellers, you look for certain things, and buyers agents, you're looking for certain things. So here we are back with our home inspector, and he's going to see if he can figure out that door. It's that screen, that security door he couldn't get open.
Oh.
Yeah, that one seems to be the one that's stuck. Oh, look at you. See, I told you.
You said pull it in. It's pushing against
So
the frame.
you have to pull it in because it's pushing against the frame. See, and how long did we stand there trying to get that thing to unlock? But my phone was in my hand. So in my defense, I didn't use both hands. But he's great about all kinds of different systems that maybe don't make really good sense. You know, maybe they're funny controllers or controllers you haven't seen before. He's usually pretty good about being able to figure them out. So right now he's going around. He tested all the water and he tested the stove, all the things in the kitchen there, the dishwasher, made sure there was no leaks. Now he's checking the electrical as he goes around the house and noting any issues, maybe a grounding or maybe an outlet's not working, something of that nature. And he'll mark it on his report. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the home. Those are pretty easy fixes, but he is looking as he's going through all the different systems for anything major. So I think he told me once the heat has to, it's mandatory that heat has to be up to a certain degree. What degree is that on the heat?
Well, we like them to come out of the register anywhere from 120, 130, and at the return have a good 20-degree split at least, minimum.
So he looks for all that, makes sure HVAC is producing like they're supposed to. Air conditioning, I don't think there's any, I mean, a home, you can sell a home without air conditioning, but it is mandatory, it has heat. And it's mandatory on the smoke detectors and the carbon monoxide and the water strapping. So we as agents can look for that point, and we all know, you know, as listing agents or buyer's agents, we both know that that's a mandatory. So as we go into the homes, we kind of look for that stuff, but it'll also be noted on the home inspection too, whether they have them or not. The other place that catches that would be the appraisal, and it would be mandatory before that appraiser will sign. It's called a condition on an appraisal. Home inspection, it's not necessarily mandatory, but an appraisal comes through and it would be mandatory that it has that few things listed. So, and if it doesn't fall under those categories, then it's called a condition on the appraisal, and the appraisal won't be good until those things are fixed typically. And that's on all different types of loans. That's on home inspections as well as, or I'm sorry, that's on conventional as well as your FHA and VA and USDA, all the different types of loans out there. That's the same, I mean, that one is across the board. Other than that, the different types of loans will have different stipulations on them. But that's what we're doing today. So I haven't seen our pest inspector, but he'll be in shortly. Maybe I'll jump back on and do another one for you. But if you have any questions or whatnot, just get a hold of me and call. Maybe I didn't get a question answered you had in the home buying process. So just let me know if you have any other questions, and I'll be happy to answer them. But I guess I'll sign off since I'm just going on, and maybe I'll jump back on maybe when the pest inspector gets here. He doesn't take near as long. That is one thing I guess I could tell you is home inspections and pest inspections. So the pest inspectors will overlap the home inspections in the water damage area. And then so it'll show the water, any water damage, as well as then it will show termites. There's two different kinds of termites that they're going to be looking for. And of course, any obvious damage from the water and different things. And they'll go up under the house. They'll do all kinds of things. It's crazy, you know, checking the different systems of these homes. I've seen little teeny tiny holes, you know, for the crawl space, and I'm looking at the pest inspector going, have you ever got stuck under a home? And he says, it's kind of been dicey. And he says, just stand there at the entrance and make sure I don't get stuck, and it's like, especially the older homes, like 1930, 1940, it's like, oh my goodness, and some of these guys aren't teeny tiny. So it's kind of, I stand there, I worry, I'm such a worrywart, I kind of worry, it's like, oh, for goodness sakes, please don't get stuck in that hole. And they said sometimes the crawl spaces aren't even accessible, and they can't maybe do all the corners or something because they're not accessible, especially on older homes. These newer ones usually are on slabs, so this one I don't even think has a crawl space, but they'll still check everything else that has water damage. They can't necessarily go under the slabs, but anyway, that's kind of what a pest inspector does, and they will overlap the home inspection with the water damage, as well as the home inspector takes it from there. They'll not only do the water damage, but every single system in the home. So that's kind of the difference between a home inspection and a pest inspection. So if you're not willing to put the money into a home inspection, I always recommend at least do the pest inspection. It won't cover all of it, but it will cover the water damage, and if it has a termite infestation. And I've been in these big beautiful new homes that's maybe only 2-3 years old, and maybe the home inspector can't really find anything, and of course he always feels bad, he doesn't feel like he's doing his job, but and then the pest inspector will come through and he says, I thought this was a pretty clean home, he says, but doggone, it has termites. And it's just really common in Fresno. It's just the area we live in with the heat and, the once in a while moisture and different things. It just kind of breeds it. So there's a good portion of homes in Fresno, Clovis, this Central Valley area that's had termites at one point, and there's nothing wrong with them. I mean, they do need to be treated, and they have the ground termites and they have the ones that fly. So there's 2 different treatments. And you just have it treated, and they're usually good. I think they said 7 years, I believe, is what my pest inspector is saying. And then they always recommend have it checked, in about 7 years. And of course, if you're still there, you would do it. And if you've sold it by then, they'll have typically another pest inspection at the time of sale. So, and just make sure that they, because those treatments only last so long. And this particular area in the Central Valley is just really prone to pest infestations. One thing I can point out is, like, they call it earth to wood contact, and that will invite rats as well as termites. So if you're having problems with any of those, rats or termites, cut all your greenery, trees, bushes, whatever, off of your home. They need to be back off the home probably a foot or 2, because it's called earth to wood contact, and that breeds pest infestation. So, if you eliminate the damage, then you'll less likely have the infestation. And that's also, don't leave debris under the house. I don't know how many times my pest inspectors has went up under homes and they found a bunch of debris under there. Maybe they went up there and did something under the house, and then they just left all the wood and different stuff up under there. Don't do that, because that just breeds pest infestations. Get all that, damaged wood or whatever it is that don't store wood under the house, that sort of thing. So that's my recommendation. Ants, on the other hand, I don't even know how to tell you to deal with the ant problem here in the Central Valley. That's crazy. And that is not part of the pest inspectors. They won't, they can't test for ants, but I tell you, at my house every year we have at least 2 infestation of ants that we have to, well, I do actually use this pest company, but I'll call them out and say, man, ants are killing me this year, so they'll spray for them and different things, but it doesn't mean that it's all gonna